Okay, folks, let me say this. I think by far, for me, this is my greatest episode of Unfiltered. You know why? Well, because of my guest. And you get to know the person very, very soon. I'm sure he doesn't really need an introduction like that, but maybe during the course of the program, I'll tell you how I met him and how glad I am that he decided that he'll give me this interview. Because trust me, folks, the lineup of people who want to interview this guy, you know. But somewhere along the line, I said, hey, I told him, Massa, consider my age, man. Consider my age. So if you want to tell the small boys to hold on, tell them to hold on. And he did. And that's why I say today, folks, we're going to have solid discussion today. I'm sure right now you're like, KSM, who is it? You're tired there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce a legal luminary, somebody that I personally call my Attorney General, but is greater than that. Put your hands together, show some love for the great Thaddeus. Sorry! Thaddeus!
Yes.
How are you doing, sir?
I got grace, I'm well.
You look very well.
If you say so. If you say so, we thank God.
I'm glad, you know, after, I don't know how many years I've been putting pressure on you to come to the show, and I don't even want to know why you finally decided to come, but I'm glad.
You intimidated me.
I intimidated you?
Yes, because after so many years of my being your lawyer first and your friend, you've always asked when I will come. And try as I did to resist, you were very persistent. And I think you provoked me, and I just decided that I'll come. And I now could not, when I was sober, retract what I had said I would do. So I think maybe it's the right time to do it. Yeah. And of course, folks, I didn't mention he is my lawyer, and I will tell you how he became my lawyer, and a very interesting case that I haven't spoken about on air since I've been on TV, but we'll get to that. But Thaddeus, welcome one more time to the show, man. Thank you.
You know,
people, thanks for having me.
Yeah, people have said, hey, Thaddeus, that's the next Chachu Chikata. Have you heard people say that?
Once in a while, I've heard people say that, but I don't know what they've seen. And these are not people who are lawyers. So maybe they don't know Chachu Chikata. Because if you know Chachu Chikata, you can't be possibly in your wildest dreams be saying
really?
That's the next, because I can't. That's a legend. I'm not very close to that, and I don't see myself getting to his level. We all still learn from him. He's a legend. By all standards, you can't take that away from him. Yes, not just by his training, but his experiences. When I sit with him and he's talking to me about his experiences as a student and as a lawyer, it is not something I can be able to match halfway in my life. I don't see that happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
So those who are saying that are not lawyers.
They are non-lawyers, and no lawyer will say that. I'm not too sure that any lawyer will say that. Wow. Because that's not a feat. You imagine yourself.
But how does it make you feel, though? Yeah, like the commoners, the non-lawyers will say you are the next. But how does it make you feel, though, for people to think of you that highly?
I could be flattered by it, one, but I have also learned from the same Chachu Chikata, maybe not directly from him, but from his senior brother, what it takes to unmake people.
To unmake them?
Yes, because maybe I show some potential, but it's another thing to say I am the next Chachu Chikata. If that gets into your head, you would begin to think you are on your way there, but I'm nowhere close to Chachu Chikata. So I don't. That doesn't get into my head. It rather humbles me. One, and two, it makes me know how much work I need to do to at least get the acknowledgement of being compared, of people being hopeful that I can attain what he's attained in life. It flatters me, but it doesn't get into my head. That's all.
Fantastic. Okay, so we move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't get to your head, but still, there was this recent case that you were on, and honestly, even though, you are my lawyer, but you don't like have conversations on updates of what you're doing and what you're not, except when I saw you write some article. I remember when this whole CJ issue started, and I think there was a radio show, morning show, some radio show was talking about it, and they wrote some article to draw the attention of the radio show host to the fact that what had happened wasn't that new in our history or in our politics. So folks, for those of you who don't know what I'm rambling about, I'm talking specifically about the CJ being asked to step aside and the petition and all. How did you be involved in the petition?
Okay, so the petitioner has been my client since the year 2008. So, and we've been in court on his matter since 2008.
He's not a lawyer?
He's not a lawyer
at
all. He's a well-known businessman. And because he's a businessman, he's been involved in a lot of cases in courts. So he pretty much understands court procedures, and he has his own expectations of what justice should look like or what the justice system should give to him. So we are in court until 2018 when the Supreme Court delivers a judgment in his favor. The issues are quite straightforward, not complicated. But since 2018, we've since been battling with the judgment of the Supreme Court, the final court of the land.
Did you say was the decision in his favor?
In his favor.
So what were you battling?
How to enjoy that very decision of the Supreme Court. Now, his opponent, and I don't want to go into the details, kept filing applications of a kind, of different kinds. And they were represented by arguably some of the greatest lawyers in this country. They didn't win those applications. Eventually, what they did was to come to the High Court to try and set aside the judgment of the Supreme Court, raising issues that the Supreme Court had pronounced on several times over. It was clearly an abuse. So this is a person who understands the process, and he knows exactly what he is doing. So occasionally when I hear that, there was a promise to reset the judiciary, and this is one of them, I don't understand it. Because if you know who is involved in this, he believes he's been a victim of that system, and he's trying to fix it. By myself, I have had issues with the Chief Justice, personal issues of a kind that should not even happen in the lowest court of the land. And they were public. People saw it. People could read. And let us lawyers show respect to people who we say are not learned. A lot of them have been to court. They've watched proceedings. They know how proceedings take place. They expect a basic level of decorum between the bench and the bar. And the bar and the bench know that. It fell far. The standards that was exhibited on a number of occasions that I was before the Supreme Court in matters in which people had interest. There were some group of people who thought this was not right at all.
In terms of
the exchanges between us?
Yeah.
In fact, in one of the rulings of the courts, in which I raised an objection about the manner in which the Speaker of the Republic of Ghana was served, which was to be done in accordance with a protocol that was handed from the Chief Justice's office to the Speaker's office. I was overruled.
Sorry.
No, my lady, I've got it right.
You can hear me very well.
Yes, my lady.
You appreciate the pickle we are in.
Yes, my lady.
You filed an affidavit on the 15th of... Please hold on. Don't interrupt me. Please.
Oh, yes, my lady.
Always wait for me to land.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it.
Your substantive application, affidavit before us, is dated the 2nd of April. Listen, let me land. If you had just waited to understand my words instead of rushing to justify yourself, but you would have admitted that you didn't have a formal notice to object.
It's not, I didn't have a problem with overruling me. I get that every day as a lawyer of my age and experience at the bar. But even the contents of the ruling did not sit well with the very protocol you had handed to the speaker. So some of those things left people like me wondering that, remember that I was called to the bar by Justice Aban. And so between Justice Aban and to the removed Chief Justice, I've seen a number of them, and I have worked with a number of them. So, and I started practicing in the Supreme Court before that this removed Chief Justice became a justice of the High Court. So she is my senior, and I respect her and everything. I respect a lot of senior lawyers, but you can't be speaking to me about practice in the courtrooms, about justice, and assume that you are talking to a naive person. So
that's what happened. That's what you felt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there was some disrespect.
Apart from disrespect, it was not just rights. You could see an interested person getting into the arena of conflict, and that was not one of the grounds of the petition. But by myself, I thought she didn't handle her position right. Unfortunately for her, and maybe the stars turned in one particular direction, it's my client who was the petitioner. And again, way before this same client, that's how come I started to work with the great Chachu Chikata actively. He told me one day that, look, if after a judgment of the Supreme Court, you've gone to court several times over in the Supreme Court, maybe I need to enhance my legal team. So he called Chachu Chikata and said, well, I want you to join my legal team. And I was intimidated. I said, well, if you are bringing in Chachu Chikata, please.
let me step aside.
I'm out of here. So I go to meet up with my senior and tell him, look, I've been told you're coming to this matter. I'm handing over the brief to you. He said, what are you talking about?
You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere. We are going to work on this together. So all of this was fortuitous. We didn't do anything according to any political agenda. This was our client way before you even became Chief Justice. And he genuinely has grievances. And that's how we came into it. I'm sorry, I'm literally taking over your show.
No, please do. It's my show, but I'm here to listen to you.
Yeah.
So let me quickly find out.
Yes.
So what about what's in the petition? That's confidential, or that's?
The Chief Justice herself, or the removed Chief Justice, has herself gone out there and put out some of the allegations to the public.
Yeah.
In any event, I'm speaking now at a time when the proceedings are no longer in camera. They are over. They were discussed before, they were discussed during, they were discussed after. I'm not going to add anything, and I won't change anything. In fact, if I'll answer any question, I'll make an assumption in her favor, and we'll take it from there. So whatever you want to ask me about it, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've had some kind of a tiff with her in terms of how she handled certain things, or handled you in the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Where's the legality?
The legality lies in the fact that the motion paper invokes the jurisdiction of the court. And if there is an irregularity on the face of the motion paper, which I am pointing out as the foundation to which I am not accepting what he has found.
No, hold on.
Yes.
Which motion paper?
His motion for injunction.
The man is not seeking. Hold on.
Yes.
Whenever I start, stop.
Oh. Once there's an objection taken to it, you cannot overreach that objection with a proposal to amend.
Hold on.
So that's all I'm drawing the court's attention to.
Stop there, mister. Stop there.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop there.
Yeah, something like that happened.
Yes.
Can somebody watching say, oh, then maybe Dad had something personal against her to begin with? So
Not really. To be honest with you, even in the High Court, I had those parties with her, several of them. But right afterwards,
You move on.
as lawyers, we move on. But these were issues. I just drew your attention to it because of the fact that if anybody thought that I needed to be influenced or I needed to be motivated politically to do this, that doesn't even make sense. Because as a person, I had every reason not to be happy with her. And my client had reason not to be happy with her. So did we need the president to come and tell us that? And in fact, I'm sure that if the party in power wanted people to petition against the Chief Justice, they would have had them. I am told that even after the first 3 petitions were sent to the committee, several others followed. Several others followed. And
Petitions followed.
Yes. And I will be interested in us getting to know what they were about. It will be important for us to know. So people are able to distinguish between what is political and what was really meant to also enhance an arm of government that is supposed to deliver for people what they expect, justice. You know.
Were you surprised that there was this political angle of the whole thing, as you've said? Did that surprise you? Because even in the article that you wrote, you were sort of implying that, hey, this is the law. It's been on the books. Did that surprise you?
It didn't. What surprised me were the kind of people who were speaking. Because we all have our biases. And as I sit, I have my biases. But when things come out into the public, and if you serve the public in a particular capacity, lawyers have a duty to the public. You have to be discerning enough to know what to put out to the public as what the public should expect, or the standard they should expect of you as a professional, and what you are putting out there based on your personal proclivities. The two are different. So I found certain statements made by leaders and by lawyers I respect quite disturbing.
I'm very sad about it. It has really saddened me. And maybe in a way, I feel very distressed by it. Yes. The sadness is about the whole process. My sadness is because as far as I'm concerned, it was a very unnecessary. We have been taken through a very unnecessary situation, and which, as far as I'm concerned, and that is my honest and candid view, this has so weakened the institution of the judiciary. And are these and these are not so, to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of an institution of justice. I've deliberately phrased myself that way. It trivializes the position.
I didn't think they were being honest in the manner in which they approach it.
Could you give an example?
The clearest example is the manner in which the removed Chief Justice herself handled the petition. The law is very clear that these matters are supposed to be in camera. You should handle the proceedings right from the petition up until it is over.
In camera.
In camera. Now, on the base, right from the beginning, you write letters, copied so many people, had it circulated in the media. It had to take a rebuke from the president to remind you for the first time that I don't like the way you are handling this, because it's supposed to be handled in a particular way. That didn't deter her. We start the proceedings. You go out in public. You are telling the public about the proceedings and how generally you are not safe and you are not comfortable with the proceedings.
In order to address the troubling violations of the Constitution and illegality of the proceedings that have become obvious to me, that became obvious to me from the beginning of the process, I started an action in the Supreme Court. I applied for the proceedings of the committee set up by His Excellency the President to be held in public, so that in the interest of transparency and for the truth in the matters being raised to be made known to the people of Ghana. I did so because I knew that the secrecy of the proceedings for removing justices was not created in the Constitution as a cover-up for any agenda.
If I were your lawyer, I would advise you to boycott it, because you had no confidence in the proceedings anyway, because you believed that it was going to lead to a particular result. Then, during the course of telling people what you should not be telling them, nobody says, no, you've gone overboard. First, you start by your letter, which you circulated in the public, and the president drew your attention to it. Now the proceedings have started, and you are still talking. No lawyer up to date has said this Chief Justice had gone rogue, and definitely rogue. If she was not removed on the grounds of this, these were grounds to have removed her, because she was plainly acting contrary to the Constitution.
Before we continue,
yes.
Why do you think that no lawyer was bold enough to point this out? Why the silence?
It speaks to a particular culture. First, we have these alliances, and people are blinded by those alliances. And I'm saying that it still doesn't help those who align themselves in a particular way, because for a person who acts like that, you are thinking about an institution that should protect you and I. So regardless of how you align with the person, issues will definitely arise in which you will take positions that will affect you adversely. So first of all, it's based on our alliances, it's political. So this woman was appointed by a particular government. She's being removed by another government. So regardless of the merits, because we don't want the government which is acting to look credible, or to show that this person who was appointed by another government was not the right person, we just need to take a position.
What we know is that there's a sinister and diabolical plot firmly underway to tighten the president's grip on power and prolong his days in office. So they knew that the firmness of the Chief Justice will not allow this. So they started to unleash the attack dogs on the Chief Justice to try and clear out of the way so that they will have their way.
And some of those who were speaking were those that the public knew were direct beneficiaries of her indiscretion. Direct beneficiaries of her indiscretion. One of the grounds of the petition related to the manner in which she handled the minority leader's case in courts.
That was in the petition.
That was in the petition. In fact, as we speak, it was in the petition of another party. That matter cannot be defended in any way, because in that her ruling against the speaker, she lied against a protocol that you had established with the speaker, only because you wanted to reach a particular conclusion. If that was an accident, the events preceding the ruling showed clearly that it pointed to a particular thing, whether it was innocent or not unintentional, to the extent that ordinary people can read and understand that, no, this cannot be right, because an application is filed at 12 o'clock. By 2, you get a full panel to hear an application, which by every rule in the book must not be granted beyond 10 days. Then you say it's granted until the final determination of the matter. And it's on a Friday. Parliament is on Tuesday. You could have told them that, look, you know what? Let the speaker be notified, and he should show up here with his lawyer on Monday or Tuesday. And let's give them a short hearing and decide whether we should grant it or the extent to which we should grant it. there was no urgency about it in a way that justified the manner in which she intervened. No way. And to talk about the fact that even in the ruling, you could say, oh, my circular said this, but the speaker misunderstood it. It was disturbing insofar as I'm concerned. And so many other things. So nobody could tell her up to date that she herself had also not conducted herself in the right way. That is where I see that we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in trouble. Where does the nation move from here? I mean, if we're able, and when we talk about the Ghana Bar Association, you're talking about lawyers, learned people who are supposed to be up and doing, So nothing scares me more than silence from the bar. So if this is has to say anything about the bar, they keep silent because of alliances. Where are we heading?
I wish I didn't have to speak about this, but the bar hasn't been silent. Only yesterday, the bar and the Attorney General literally crossed swords on the same point.
Okay.
Because the Attorney General said, look, we've had instances of such removals based on the same constitutional provision. At what point in time did the bar realize that constitutional provision required clarity? Is it because a particular person was involved? And as for the argument that, we are dealing with the Chief Justice, not any ordinary person. It's a mentality that educated people should not even sow in the mind of anybody. Because we all are equal before the law. And if the Chief Justice occupies such an exalted position, deserving of respect, shouldn't she carry herself in a manner better than every other person? And let's talk about it. The Electoral Commission is a very important, it's the most important institution insofar as our democracy is concerned. That is the institution that crowns your president, who appoints the Chief Justice, without which you cannot be Chief Justice. So why are we diminishing that position? That constitutional provision was applied to a particular person. And we all kept quiet. The bar didn't know at that time that was Article 146. So the Attorney General says, why have you been silent? If all of a sudden you are speaking about this in connection with the recent occurrence, you've woken up too late. You must first accept responsibility for waking up too late and give us an explanation as to why you are waking up at this time when you should have been waking up earlier.
Because it happened before.
It's happened several times before. In fact, the first person it was applied to was a man called Dr. Opong in the NCC. His grounds were that he didn't see eye to eye with his boss. The deputy, he was a deputy. He didn't see eye to eye with the head of the institution because the head of the institution had given an instruction and he disobeyed it. That was how he got removed. In fact, since then, we've had several Chief Justices. Georgina Wood eventually made rules to govern commissions of inquiry. If there was a lacuna, she became Chief Justice. The removed Chief Justice became Chief Justice, spent her time making unconstitutional rules of courts instead of focusing on Article 146, based on which she was removed. So we waited, others got removed based on the same article, and all of a sudden, you are being affected. Rules have been crafted, let's follow those rules, and the rules are suddenly opaque, and they are not well applied. It is not too clear. And Ghana Bar Association speaks. Even yesterday, they said the same thing. Still didn't answer the point as to why they've been comatose from that time up to now. And I'm a member of the Ghana Bar, proud member of the Ghana Bar Association.
Why have you been comatose? Speaking now for the bar.
I would accept responsibility for that, and I expect the bar to accept responsibility for being comatose. But I wasn't comatose. I'll tell you why. I was Charlotte Osei's lawyer. And throughout that process, I advised her as to what to do every step of the way. When her attention was drawn to the petition, she wrote several letters challenging the process, and they still railroaded the process until she was removed. Afterwards, Kweku Bako went to the Supreme Court and raised the same point about the absence of rules to regulate Article 146. Samson Ladi again was his lawyer. They went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, rubbished it. And said, this is not even a matter that should have come before the courts. And struck the case out. So, the matter that the Ghana Bar Association is talking about now was beaten way back, almost 10 years now.
Are they aware?
Yes. And in any event, we are lawyers.
Yeah.
Why are you not in court? Why are we on the platforms and talking? I've never genuinely believed in a matter that I sat by and slept over. Justice Sophia Akufu, who's speaking publicly, is, if you're talking about my practice, who is my mother in the practice? She's the one. I acknowledge her everywhere. And even when she came to testify for the removed Chief Justice, I walked up to her and greeted her and told everybody that this is my mother in practice. I have sued her when she was Chief Justice before because she took a decision I didn't agree with. So if the bar feels genuinely, feels strongly about a position, take it to court. Let the court record that, look, we don't agree with this matter. In fact, I expected the bar to even take up the CJ's case. They should come in as her lawyers. She's filed several cases. People have filed several cases, been bold enough to fight for the woman in court. Why are we doing PR in the public? Those are the issues that kind of embarrass me as a member of the bar. I still hope that going forward, we would have learned from all of this. And when governments are taking steps that the bar feels strongly about, let's go out and represent people who think the executive branch of government is using its power in a way to oppress. That is what we should do as lawyers. That's what I think.
Do you think the article as it stands now can give provision for any executive head to manipulate?
I honestly don't believe in changing rules. One of the highest qualities of a constitution is that it should not easily be changed. And that's the reason why you find the American Constitution living for so many years, being there for so many years. You can count on the people that the Constitution entrusts power to be able to protect it and to interpret it to reflect the evolution that the framers of the Constitution intend to happen when circumstances change. And so Article 146, argue it as you want. This is a provision that required the president to consult the Council of State. That Council of State is composed of several distinguished persons, not only a former Chief Justice. There was another former Justice of the Supreme Court. There was a former Speaker of several years standing at the bar, reputable lawyer. There was another reputable lawyer, several of them. In fact, two of them, Betty Mole Idiso, a former Attorney General. They said that the president should consult those people. The president consulted them. So just tell me that those people were malleable and that we shouldn't have placed any confidence in them. If that is so, you can craft the rule the way you like. But if you are still going to have malleable people there is no point in deceiving yourself that changing the rule will make a difference. Then afterwards, they advise him. They set up a committee made up of 2 Supreme Court justices, one of whom was appointed by the former administration. In addition to that, several cases were filed in the courts. They were all thrown out. So how about those people in those institutions? If we don't have confidence in ourselves, changing the rules would not make any difference. Let's forget it. And I've never agreed with any idea of a constitutional reform to change anything in the Constitution. There's nothing wrong with the Constitution. We should look in ourselves and accept responsibility. Several times, Chief Justices, there have been attempts to remove Chief Justices. It went to the courts, and that's why it ended. Because the courts took the position that, look, even the procedure and the standards and all of that were not met. On this particular occasion, the courts took that position. So they too were wrong. Council of State wrong. And all of this boils down to a president having said before that he will reset the judiciary. Did he have conference with these people too? Could he anticipate court actions? Did he know Daniel Ofori? Did he know that you will travel and take per diem contrary to Article 71? How did the president trap you on all of that? So let's do honest politics.
Yeah. I like how you put it. Let's do honest politics. Because the politics has taken a different tone altogether. It's partisan and not exactly honest. It's whether to suit a particular ideology of a party, unfortunately. And that's what has actually, how do I put it, engulfed this situation. So nobody can think right and be objective about it.
I want to ask you, you see, I'm a member of the Ghana Bar Association. On so many occasions, this banter we've had in the courtroom and all of that, which ordinary people didn't think was right. Did the Ghana Bar itself ever call me and say, no, what took place? We expect next time that things like that shouldn't occur. We are giving a bad impression to the public. I'm a member. You could have, if I was wrong, I was willing to go and sit by a senior lawyer who would say, no, next time you are being engaged in that manner, that we shouldn't do this. But I also expect that if the Chief Justice did something wrong, we could have hashed it behind. After all, I'll appear before her again. I'll appear before her colleagues again. And I've had banters like that. So you expect an institution which is supposed to protect or work to a particular end to at least be seen to be doing that. And like I'm saying, I'm not casting the blame only on them. I'm also a member. And maybe sometimes if I got proactive, maybe I should have written a letter to them saying, did you watch what happened? And are you sitting as a representative of an association that's supposed to protect me quietly and watching what took place without saying something? Maybe I should have done that. But having said that, the point you make is right. We just acquiesce and we get along. And that shouldn't be it.
Yeah. And that should be it. I want to take a short few seconds for you to watch a clip. This is, I think it was Honorable Afenyo Marking making a complaint to a Commonwealth, I don't know whether it's a lawyer or something. I want you to watch it and then let me see your reaction.
We in the minority are not satisfied or happy with how the Chief Justice was recently removed. We see it as more of politics than really ensuring that there is some accountability.
So Ted, what's your answer to this?
It is not worthy of an answer.
It's not worthy of an answer
at all, because first of all, we're a sovereign nation. And I'm saying this is the leader of a political group in parliament. He's a lawyer by all standards. What stops you from taking more serious steps to address the matter? Commonwealth Lawyers Association have nothing to do in this country.
Yeah. They
cannot influence anything. They are just lawyers like us. They hold the same degrees that we hold. There's no principle of law they know that we don't know. There's nothing they will tell the president that we can't tell him. There's nothing they will tell any court that we can't tell him. So I don't rate what they say. In any event, watch them. They didn't even know the facts. They were literally regurgitating what had been said before on political platforms. Yeah. You didn't see an interrogation of any of the specific issues, provided no guidance to anything. So you would not even rate it as noise, because at least you know what that is. It was totally unnecessary in my view. So if he referred to it, if it served his purpose, fine. But impact, useless. It had nothing, it did not achieve anything in this country.
I probably shouldn't ask you, because from what you've said, I can sort of assume what you're going to be saying. There was some note from the Commonwealth, what was it called? They want the president to immediately rehire the CJ. I just want to hear your words.
I'm saying I will take a statement from any Ghanaian making his point on any social media platform more seriously than that one. I said the Ghana Bar Association is a constitutionally recognized body.
Yeah.
It is mentioned in our constitution in several respects. If the Ghana Bar Association doesn't think itself having enough weight to influence this process, as for them that we don't even know in any of our laws, they have no business talking. They should correct what is happening in their various countries.
Yeah.
There are worse things happening there that they should deal with and stop interfering with our matters. So that's what I'm saying. I won't.
They should stop interfering with the matters and do what they have to do.
Human rights abuses and all of that.
I'm wholeheartedly behind that. Yeah. So moving on. Now we've had I'm glad that with the explanation you're giving to us on the CJ issue and everything, and especially being that you're one of the lawyers for the petitioner, it's absolutely awesome having you. Let's talk about other legal issues now that are coming, because this whole thing about, I saw a headline in some paper that the animal farm judge has finally granted bail to Abronye. Are you following the Abronye case? And legally,
a little. Yeah. I've read some pieces of it, heard news about it. First of all, that judgment was a disgrace. You see,
which judgment?
The judgment of the Abronye DC judge, for want of a better word, or not even that. We don't even want to mention his name.
The judgment. Yeah.
Yes. First of all, for a judge to be referring to Animal Farm, I respect, but social media posts which have been attributed to Mugabe, we don't even know whether he said so or not, or whether he was the right person who said it or otherwise. Didn't make sense. Lawyers reason according to principles. And so you expected him to set out those principles, relate them to the facts, and then reach a conclusion. So his whole approach to it was very incompetent. Very, very incompetent. But let me step back a little. Did Ghanaians not start warning us that the standard was lower than what this Abronye judge showed? That in the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court, judgments come out and laymen say, look, if this is what it means to be learned, we would rather be unlearned. So way back when we were seeing or reading judgments coming out from the highest court of the land, and we were not speaking about it. Why does this surprise us?
Have the chickens come home to roost?
Well, you have said it better. I don't know. Those are not my ways. But going back to Abronye's case by itself, I will tell you of an experience, and I'm going to mention Godfrey Dami. Credit I give to him. So people read my publications and all of that. They think, how about something against him? How about nothing against him? I just speak my mind. There was a case in which he came to court himself to prosecute. Okay, it involves Collins Dowda. Whether we like it or not, political implications. When it was time for me to move an application for bail, I said no. Godfrey Dami is the Minister for Justice. I didn't think that I should be getting up to move a formal application for bail for a sitting member of Parliament. He should be telling the court that he's not opposed to the grant of bail to Collins Dowda. And honestly, Godfrey Dami got up and did it. Credit to him as the Minister for Justice for seeing that, look, that was the right and proper thing to do. So on one of the occasions, let me give him credit for doing that. What I expected Afenyo Makin to do in that application was to challenge the prosecution to show why Abronye should be detained after you had gone to court and given reason for which you wanted him to be in custody over a particular period. When that period was over, what was the justification, if there was one for the first one, to continue to keep him there? That I will tell the court that you don't expect me to be moving a formal application for this. The prosecution itself should be happy for him to be granted bail, and the court should be the protector of Abronye's liberty. Because if Abronye comes before the courtroom, his expectations are that this is the only place where I can be sure that the right thing will be done. So the court itself should have said, look, please, I have kept this man in custody at your instance. I have no reason to keep him again, unless you show me better reason to keep. I didn't see or hear or read any of the proper principles that must determine whether or not Abronia should be given bail or not given bail. Whether he had a fixed place of abode, he had such ties as would not make it easy for him to want to flee the country and all of that. I didn't even hear people talk about the fact that there was some indication that he's willing to flee the country. If the prosecution has said, no, this is a man we all know is ready to flee today. So if you grant him bail and he flees, then we wouldn't have him to come here and stand his trial. If that was the reason why he was detained, I'm sure people can relate to it. But you didn't find those arguments. The animal farm principles and all of that. So who was the unequal person according to the animal farm theory? Abronia or who? It was a very bad judgment. We shouldn't be proud of it. It just shows us again that if there is a reset, it is delayed, it is delaying or is stalling because the standards are not too good.
Speaking of standards, who's to blame for the low standards or for the standards that are not acceptable? Does anybody carry the blame?
It's sitting where I sit as a Ghanaian, I can only say, they are appointing authorities because we should blame them because they appoint these people. In one of the allegations against the Chief Justice, the point was made that she was conspiring with the former government to make appointments of her own to the Supreme Court. I liked her own arguments. Her own arguments was that, look, there is case law authority. There are protocols on how we appoint Supreme Court justices. And it is clear that it is a bench bar faculty collaboration, academia. When I say faculty, I mean academia. That there must be a collaboration to get the best people from these areas to be on the Supreme Court. All the correspondences that were tendered in evidence did not show this collaboration. And in fact, the people who were proposed were all from the bench. There was no bar representative. There was no academic representative from the academia. Clearly, again, she had erred. But this is something that the Ghana Bar Association came to testify about, and everybody was making noise that, look, there's an authority on the point. What they even forgot was that I was the lawyer involved in that matter, in which the issue came up. So the appointing authorities must also, they should take responsibility for it, but we also owe it to ourselves to draw their attention to certain things. Because we are now we all hear about promotions. And the kind of names you hear, we've been sitting in the circuit court for so many years. It's time for us to go to the High Court. What have you been doing in the circuit court? I'm the longest serving High Court judge. It is time. This is not an inheritance that goes from one person to the other. Yeah. It's meritorious. So, but we all sit down as lawyers. I sit down in the courtroom and a judge delivers a judgment and a very senior lawyer says, very Solomonic judgment by you, my lord. What? And the judge should tell him, shut up. What did you just say? What do you think I'm sitting here doing? To deliver useless judgments? But we are happy to be praised for doing nothing. And all our political leaders, if one walks in here, you and I will interrupt this interview and get up and be saluting him. and so he is right to act in the way in which he acts, in any way he likes. And we should blame ourselves. We give them the power, but we refuse to hold them accountable.
That's so spot on. We give them the power, but we don't hold them accountable.
Yeah. So we can't blame one person. Let's blame ourselves.
And isn't it sad that even though we give the power, I think one of the reasons that we can't hold them accountable is the same old partisan division. Because once you want to hold somebody accountable, that also is immediately defined or for or against.
Okay, so maybe I because of an interview,
Yeah.
I'll wind back a little.
Yeah.
Ghanaians hold people accountable in a very special way. So they will probably not react immediately. They will bottle it up and teach you a lesson. But somehow, because of the way we treat them, after we've treated them, after we've put them in power, and we are deceiving them that, oh, you are on the right track, you're on the right track, only to hit their heads at the end of it all. It still is in their minds that Ghanaians are stupid, because I hear some arguments today, and let me draw attention to it. I hear this argument that, look, let's stop this whole political retaliation. Inherent in that argument is an admission then, or a concession then, that something was done wrong and some other person is retaliating.
Yeah.
So you overshot the runway. Start by saying, no, we now appreciate what we did in the past. We have learned our lessons. Sitting where we sit, we won't repeat it. So now that you guys have come, our advice to you is don't follow our mistakes. But it is followed by a suicidal statement.
Yeah.
If this is how you want to go, then we will do it. So which means that retaliation is correct. So I want Ghanaians to listen to that type of speech. The person who is saying, oh, let's not do retaliation, has first of all admitted that something was done that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. And
he doesn't say, okay, we haven't learned this, we won't do it again. He said, well, when we come back, we will show you. So judge what you should be doing next. So even the way they speak, it doesn't show leadership or even maturity in so far as I'm concerned. So Ghanaians do hold you accountable. It is just that our method of doing it, the fundamental thing, until God then intervenes to teach you a lesson, we'll leave it at that.
How do you see this? We are now in a so-called called democracy, Western style. The law is the law, as you said.
No matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
And everything. And yet, that seems to also be in conflict with our traditional ways of doing things. Like we're saying, we don't exact punishment immediately. We bottle it in until further notice. Do you see a clash between this and...
Not really.
No?
Not really. It's a question of approaches. Maybe in the Western world, they will react instantly. The law also allows us to wait and vote you out. So we are still acting in accordance with the law. So maybe Ghanaians by nature are a little patient. And maybe those of us with a little bit of Western education, we want to be instant. But maybe the Ghanaians' general attitude or approach to dealing with it is that, well, if the law says we can wait and vote him out, let's wait and vote him out.
Except we are selective in practicing that same thing.
Yes.
Let me use oral as a good example.
Okay.
Oral, the law says make sure that you have your case watertight and do the thing so that your case is not dismissed. But the people's emotion is not like, hey, no, you promised you're going to catch them and detain them. What are we waiting for? So are we being selective in how we decide on what to wait for and what to demand immediate action?
No. As long as you come to me and make a promise, let us take it from a basic level. Every type of relationship that thrives on a promise will collapse if the promise is not met. Because a person engages you based on what you represent to them. If you said you were going to hold them accountable, there must have been some information you had. If that information is wrong, it is okay to say, look, I promised you the moon. Somehow I realized that what I was looking at was not the moon. I'm sorry about it. Maybe we can understand. But when we are not connecting with
what you promised,
with what we promised, and delivering it to the people who relied on it and took a leap of faith with us, that disconnect creates problems. So it's not just easy to come and say, okay, we are still working our way. So it is in respect of everything everything that was said that we are still working your way there, is there something we can start with? And what is stopping us from starting? You know, it can't then be that everything that you said was based on a conjecture. So I think that is where we have a problem. Like I was listening to people criticize the president that, he didn't say anything about Galamsey, the state of the emergency, the state of emergency, the state of emergency. Question. At the time, everybody said a state of emergency should be declared. Are the circumstances the same as now? Is Galamsey still at the same level? If it is, we are not even asking the president why he's not doing it. He must do it. But if the president can say, look, since then, we've also worked this way, and it seems to be working, imposing a state of emergency will be unnecessary at the moment because we are gradually reducing it through other methods.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament. The president can't just declare a state of emergency without, going to Parliament because there's a limit to how long you can maintain that state of emergency. And so I believe that we still have leverage to continue to fight Galamsey without necessarily implementing a state of emergency. It means that we have to delineate the areas where the state of emergency is operational. And if you look at the area where Galamsey is taking place, it covers several districts of our country. And so we would do it if it becomes necessary. But for now, I think that we've given the security services enough powers to be able to deal with people who are found to be involved in Galamsey.
I'm sure people will understand. But if the argument was state of emergency, without any direct communication to us as to why we are not doing what we promised the people, there's going to be a problem. But there have been various admissions that at least in some areas, some work is being done. I don't know about that. I just heard my acting Chief Justice say that it has escalated. If that is true, it's another matter. So maybe we should learn how to communicate or tell people the truth. They will understand, I'm sure. Or maybe that's because I'm not a politician. I'm seeing things in black and white.
And politicians don't see things in black and white. To them, everything is gray.
Well. So when they went out votes, they should speak in gray terms. That's all. But
black and white terms. Practice gray.
That's where the communication has a problem.
Tad, I'm listening to you, and in my mind, I'm saying, wow, that's not today. From how I've known you, this is a progressive thinking person.
Say so.
I am saying so.
Okay.
How do you think the generality of the Bar Association will feel about you?
I really don't gauge exactly what they feel about me. I'm as much a member of that bar as any other person.
Okay.
And I sit here and speak as a member of that bar. It will be disheartening for me to begin to reflect on what I have to say in order to make the bar feel happy.
Okay.
But the bar itself must respect my right to speak.
I get it.
The bar itself must respect the fact that I am saying things or expressing concerns as a member, which they must take on board. Because they can't get rid of me as a member. I'm a member of that bar. And as long as I remain a member of that bar, and I have misgivings, and I have issues, they have an obligation to address them. If they don't address them, the member will speak. So I don't speak about the bar. I've criticized the bar so many times, but I contribute to bar activities. I contribute to it actively. I can prove that. So I don't really think that this is about the sensibilities of any particular bar member, or if there's a bar. I don't understand what that is, because I'm also a member of that bar.
Quick question. This you may not remember, but in the initial stages of our friendship,
yes,
I remember you asking me, I don't remember the exact question, but I told you that once upon a time I wanted to be a lawyer. I told you that.
Yeah, I remember the context.
And your answer was, well, you would have been disappointed if you had become a lawyer. Then I said, why? I said, now I'm asking you
that question,
before the whole nation.
That question I won't answer today. Sometimes it's for another discussion.
of maybe.
Well, of
because
course,
you told me, saying, I've been with you for a while. If you have been a lawyer,
because you are a very fiery person, and if you are now asking me what do my own group of members think about what I'm doing, I'm not sure you'd have been concerned about what they thought about what you're saying. So if you are now asking me that, you'll be disappointed, because if you have to reflect on what you have to say about your own association, I'm not sure you'll be too happy about doing that. You'll want to flow. You'll want to speak your mind.
Tanya, show some love. Tanya, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's been great. And now let me tell you how I got to meet him, man. You know me, I say anything. I don't hide anything. I once upon a time took a loan from a bank to do a movie, you know, and of course, when you do your loan, you have to make sure you can pay back. As part of proving I'll pay back, I put my house on it. So so my house was the collateral. The movie came out, and sorry to say, the cashes that I was expecting didn't happen. So at the end of the day, I was owing the bank, and when it got to the point that it looked like this guy is not paying, the only thing they could do was, Charlie, his house was the collateral, let's take it. That is when I met that. Don't worry, you know. But let me tell you something that happened that to date, you know, amazes me about you, you know.
Okay.
Here I am, I owe the bank because I've taken their loan, I haven't paid the loan. They're taking me to court. I bring in my lawyer, and we're able to argue that whatever you argued very well, but you also find them that there was something they didn't do right, so they were supposed to pay a fine for whatever it is they didn't do right. Do you remember?
Yeah, the details of the case I don't remember, but I remember that there were some loopholes, or they took advantage of you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I remember. But that is my job. You see, the thing you do on stage and how you manage to wow your crowd with a lot of tricks and all that, I can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can train me anyhow. I can never do it. It's not my training. And if you give me the mic right now to address a crowd, you'll be sorry. I mean, I'll be so poor at it, you won't believe that I'm the one sitting here.
Really?
Yeah, I can't address a crowd. A lot of people, when I tell people I'm shy and I'm not confident, and all of that, nobody believes that.
No,
a
lawyer?
Yeah,
a great lawyer like
I'm telling you. I'm like you, I'm on the stage. If I'm in the courtrooom, I'm on the stage. Yeah, so after I finish, that's all.
Yeah, so they took advantage of something?
Yeah, they took advantage of somewhere. They in terms of the agreement, there were conditions precedent that they didn't meet.
Wow.
And so, I don't remember.
They had to pay a fine, B. I remember you.
I remember, and I think they negotiated it with us to avoid, because they were going to be thrown out.
Okay.
But, and then it wasn't. But you also did well, because you redeemed yourself. You did, all the arguments I marshaled didn't relieve you of the obligation of paying the loan.
Yeah.
So the idea was to find what the law allowed in order for you to be able to pay the loan. That's it.
Okay. I remember my friend, because I had a friend at the bank, was very upset that not only have I not paid the loan, I had them
You
fined.
found some tricks and all of that, but to be honest with you, these were not tricks, and that's what people say about lawyers. They think that we go and lie and all of that. The very agreement that you brought was what I looked at. I looked at the rules of regulating it. I didn't pull any trick. I didn't lie about anything, and I'm not sure that I would get you to lie only because you owed. The law allowed you to go to find time to pay.
And I still have my house, man. Put your house together. What can I say? Thank you so much for this appearance today, and I'm sure there are many people who have watched and they now fully understand whatever went on. And of course, this is not coming from me as a talk show host or coming from a friend. This is coming from one of the lawyers who are actually acting on behalf of the petitioner. And so what can I say? Thank you, Tad.
Welcome, and thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
All right.
Oh, by the way, folks, just 1 second. Thaddeus, Cactus, I'm having a 21st September in Chroma birthday-ish something. I'm having a buffet Sunday.
Okay.
On Cactus Creek.
I've been there before.
You've been there,
nice.
I know.
With a few friends of mine.
Yes.
5 younger friends. And they were so excited to see you. And so I'm sure if I tell them that we should come back there.
Please bring them all on Sunday.
We enjoyed the lunch that day. The buffet was very nice.
Okay.
So God willing, we'll be there.
Fantastic.
We'll be there.
Fantastic. Sunday. This Sunday.
No, Sunday. Okay.
Is the 21st.
Very well.
Okay.
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you too.
And not only because of Cactus, because of Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes.
We should come and celebrate him. And celebrate him at Cactus. It will be
Thank
nice
you.
To do. Yeah.
Cactus Creek Hotel invites you this Sunday, 21st September, for a delicious local buffet. Don't miss it. See you there.
He's had it all. See you there.